church to get married to her groom. Or at a football match when the teams enter the ground, running through the banner and everybody gives them a great big cheer. Or when your favourite performers enter the stage to give a performance at a concert. Well, today we're entering a series on Easter. In today's story, Jesus was preparing to enter Jerusalem, and there was a large crowd of people. Just like a wedding, a concert, or a football match, the entrance is the beginning of them preparing to do something special. When Jesus entered Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, Jesus was preparing for the greatest and most special event in the whole of history. There was a huge crowd of people in Jerusalem. They were celebrating the Passover, which is a time where God's people celebrated God saving them from slavery and passing the Red Sea. The crowd had heard that Jesus was entering Jerusalem, and they were getting ready to see him, as they had heard all the wonderful things that he had done. Their cheers may have sounded something like this.
Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna. Everybody praise the Lord. Everybody praise the Lord. Everybody praise the Lord. Everybody praise the Lord. So clap your hands and wave your arms. Play the drums and then rock the guitar. So clap your hands and wave your arms. You can play the drums and then rock the guitar. We sing Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna. Everybody praise the Lord. Everybody praise the Lord. Everybody praise the Lord. Everybody praise the Lord. So clap your hands and wave your arms. Play the drums and then rock the guitar. Oh, clap your hands and wave your arms. You can play the drums and then rock the guitar. We sing Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna, Hosanna, ho, ho, Hosanna. If I don't sing, the rocks cry out. He made it all without a doubt. From start to end, he planned it out. You just can't stop me singing, shout. Hey, sing and shout. Whoa, shout it out. Just let it out. I'm thankful for God's only Son. Through him, new life has just begun. From start to end, he planned it out. You just can't stop me singing, shout. Hey, sing and shout. Whoa, shout it out. Just let it all out. Sing and shout with thanks and praise. Sing and shout for all my days. For Jesus is the one you know who saved my soul and makes me go.
Sing it out. Shout it out. Sing it out. Shout it out.
If I don't sing, the rocks cry out. He made made it all without a doubt. From start to end, he planned it out. You just can't stop me, sing and shout. Hey, sing and shout. Whoa, shout it out. Just let it out. Sing and shout with thanks and praise. Sing and shout for all my days. For Jesus is the one you know. Save my soul and makes me go.
Sing it out. Shout it out. Sing it out. Shout it out. Sing it out. Shout it out.
The crowd could not wait to finally see Jesus, the king they had been waiting for. They waved palm branches, laid down their coats and robes to create a path for him, and praised his name as they welcomed him. And they were calling out, Hosanna! Glory to him in the highest! Jesus looked upon the crowd, knowing that these same people who worshipped him right now would soon reject him and send him to the cross just days later. Jesus desperately wanted both those who loved him and did not love him to know how much he loved them. So he wept for them and their salvation. Jesus continued through the city to prepare for the greatest task God had sent him to this earth to do. God had a great plan for him that would allow him to save each and every one of those people, even those who did not love him.
Hi kids! Let me ask you a question. When you see these symbols, what does it remind you of? Like this symbol, we see a lot of it. What about this one? Or even this one? When you see these really simple symbols, straight away you know what they mean and represent. Like seeing the golden arches may remind you of a yummy meal that you enjoy, or the recycling symbol reminds you to make sure you put the things in the right bin. Today, we are going to look at an event in the Bible called the Last Supper. Jesus used symbols, different kinds of symbols, to help not only the disciples who were with him, but also to help us to remember something really important. The night before Jesus went to the cross, Jesus had his final meal with his 12 closest friends, his disciples. This event is called the Last Supper, which we do at church today. We call it communion. Jesus took a piece of bread and he told the disciples that the bread is a symbol to remind them of his body that would be hung on a cross for them. Jesus then took a cup of wine gave thanks to God, and he told the disciples, "This cup of wine is a symbol to remind them of his blood that will forgive the sins of many." Jesus then shared with the disciples that someone in the room would betray him. He told them that this was supposed to happen this way. All the disciples were wondering who it is, or whether it was they themselves who was going to betray Jesus. One asked Jesus, "Who is it?" Jesus then said, "The one that I first give the bread to." And Jesus gave the bread to Judas. Jesus said, "Hurry and do what you are going to do." And Judas went and betrayed Jesus. May we be reminded of what Jesus has done for us. He died on the cross, but he rose again on the third day, so that all who believe in him can have forgiveness and friendship with him now and forever.
Hi kids! In today's story, Jesus did something pretty special for his disciples. Jesus got up from the table, took off his robe, and began to wash his disciples' feet. That's right, their feet. Now the disciples had been walking around with Jesus on the dirty ground, and they didn't wear shoes like this. They had sandals a little like this. Can you imagine what their feet were like? They would have been so grubby. They could have had blisters, corns, ingrown toenails, tinea. Ugh. Yet one by one, Jesus knelt down and washed the disciples' feet. When Jesus came to Peter, Peter said,
No, wait, Jesus! You can't wash my feet.
Jesus said,
You may not know what I'm doing, but one day you will. If you don't get your feet washed, you won't belong to me.
Then Peter said,
Oh, you can wash my hands and head too.
Jesus said to Peter,
That's not necessary. Your feet needs to be washed.
Jesus shared the importance of serving and loving one another, just as he served them. We deal with something dirty all the time, far greater than dirty feet. It is our sin, which is doing things our way and not God's way. Jesus came to wash the dirty sins in all our hearts. He died on the cross, rose again on the third day, that all who believe in him can be forgiven and have friendship with him now and forever. Jesus came to this earth to serve, not to be served. How can you be like Jesus and serve and love one another this week? See you next time!